Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Just Another Talk. On this episode, we're going to be talking about a visit that was paid to a couple influencers that is somehow, possibly, maybe linked to Diddy. I don't know. Let's get right into the video though.
Hi everybody and welcome to the show. My name is Amala Epinobi. I do not plan on harming myself or taking my own life. I am not often in back alleys at night. I do not have any mysterious or untreated illnesses, and I like being alive.
First and foremost, she's fine. That's how I feel. Call me. I'm just kidding. Let's just get back to the video.
The reason I start the show out this way is if you're reading this headline and you're thinking there's no way this headline is true, she's clickbaiting us. This headline is absolutely true. I was visited by two private detectives today, and we're going to talk about what's going on there. Private investigators, I should say. At least that's what they owned up to being. We're going to talk about all of that. We were going to have a whole different show. We were just going to do a little Jubilee video today and react to that and respond to it. But of course, we were taken on a different course. Now, luckily, I actually have two witnesses to what took place today. My best friend, Risa, and Taylor, who's in Nashville.
It is true. What a day. Wow. Do we have a story for y'all? It's getting real, guys. That's all I can say.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what is going on right now. We're going to go on and go into the story. I guess this is going to be today's episode, so it's going to be a little bit of a story time. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Taylor and I were filming a video this morning, and we were on Zoom, as we often are. Me from my studio, Taylor from his humble abode. Now, as I was getting to the end of the video where I'm closing out, telling you guys to like and subscribe, I get a little bit of a text message from my best friend, Risa, whom I used to live with, and she's texting me saying, hey, there are two guys at the door right now, and they're asking about ads. I'll actually read the actual text that she sent me so we can get verbatim exactly what happened here. She called first, and I was filming, so I didn't pick up the call. The call goes through, and she says, call me so you can tell these guys you are not interested in ads. They are at my door. I'm being a bitch, is what Risa says. And I said, LOL, can I just call you in 1 minute? I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why two guys would be at your door asking about ads, but here we are in the story. So I finish up filming my video. I call Risa. It's been a few minutes at this point. Apparently these guys are still at the door. Immediately when I pick up the phone, she's like, okay, when she picks up the phone, you're on speaker. And I'm like, what is going on? So one guy starts to speak up, and I'm sensing like a little bit of nervousness in his voice, but he's still there. He's talking. He's got what I would say is like a medium to thick-ish New York accent. And he's saying, we just wanted to come and talk to you about the things that you speak about on your channel, and, whether or not somebody pays you to say the things that you say. And it was a very just vague question. I didn't know exactly how to answer that. So I answered back and said, nobody pays me to say anything that I say on my channel. You guys know we've tried a couple sponsors on this show once or twice long ago. We've had no sponsors since. We get paid, through YouTube ad revenue and the ad revenue from different platforms, but nobody's paying me directly to say anything. Now he goes on to say, to sort of talk about topics that I talk about on this show. And the immediate topic that he jumps to is, you talk about P. Diddy and celebrities. Mind you, again, this guy's stumbling over his words, and he's not necessarily sounding so fluent in whatever message he's trying to get across.
So to make a short story shorter, Amalia's friend then puts the phone on speaker, and Amalia proceeds to ask these two gentlemen a bunch of questions. She describes their tone and things like that, and how she felt that the first guy was nervous and the second guy was a little bit more aggressive. She then proceeds to, ask them some questions, and they reveal that they are private investigators and that, they're wondering if she's being paid to speak about Diddy. If you look at her YouTube, she does a lot of political commentary. She does a lot of commentary overall, but she has spoken a lot about Diddy and the people that have been involved, or allegedly, I should say, have been possibly linked to what Diddy was doing. And so these gentlemen are asking her candidly, hey, do you get paid for making videos about Diddy? And so, she obviously answers no, but she continues to ask them questions, and, they kind of admit that, well, we work for someone that's just really looking to see if some YouTubers are being paid. And we have a list of 10 to 15 names, I think is what they said, that they were investigating, asking asking essentially just these couple questions about if they're being paid to make content about Diddy. And so she also alludes to the fact that they said they would be willing to pay her, if not pay her more than what she's already getting, but obviously she's not being paid. She does have a pretty successful YouTube channel. You could look at her views, but she's also, common sense. She speaks about a lot of things that I would say I definitely agree with her on some points. But this interaction being the way that it is and them going to her old address, right, is what made her be like, whoa, like what's going on? Why are you even asking these questions? These guys wouldn't tell him anything else. Now, that's kind of like the basis of the story. You guys can go watch the full video. It's like 35, 40 minutes long. After watching that video, I just happened to go and look this up to see if okay, she's saying, and she has witnesses, she's saying that these two P.I.s approached one of her friends. So I was curious, okay, they say they have a list of YouTubers they're checking on. Could they have already talked to some other YouTubers, or maybe have they started with her? So I went ahead and looked this up, and I found another video of another influencer that was approached, and this is the video that I found.
So you guys are private investigators who have come to my private home asking about influencers? This is very uncomfortable, you guys.
I don't know why. I'll explain.
No, you're at my home.
Okay, so you don't want to talk to us then?
Have I broken some law?
Absolutely not.
And you have the thin blue. This is frightening. I think. Can you guys step away from my home?
Well, we're in a public street, so the answer is no. But I'm not. Listen, we're not trying to give you a hard time.
Why are you here? What do you mean? You're showing up at my
We're
house.
very nice and respectful, and we will be. I just have two quick questions for you, and if you want to be interested in it, great. If not, we'll have a nice day. We're not.
What is this? This is odd.
So
You have to admit this is very
it
weird.
always is, and people always ask the same question. I'm happy to explain to you. So
What?
Very simply, we were just hired to speak to a few people that do, have a lot of followers, stuff like that, on different platforms.
What is this about the Diddy stuff I report on?
Somewhat, yes. Not necessarily Diddy stuff, but people are involved in just stuff like that. So basically, a very simple question is are you paid to influence that's stories like that in any direction?
No, not at all.
That's all we wanted to know. Because if the companies, they're looking into people who are.
Are you guys gonna pay me for this visit? Like, this is frightening. Like, I'm super. You have to admit, if I came to your house and I thought this was a joke. I thought I have a friend coming over business right now. Like, this is extremely weird for me. I have 100,000 followers. I'm not making any money.
That's one of the reasons why we're here, and that's the question that we're asking. If someone contacts you, say in the last 6 months, and is paying you to influence in a certain way,
No.
either one way.
Is it illegal if somebody would have?
So the answer is no.
Okay, I wish somebody would have. I'd love to be making real money off this.
Let me talk for 2 seconds. I'll explain to you. Try to make you feel better.
I mean, this is
Very
terrifying.
Simply, very simply, if somebody was paying you,
Right.
if somebody we work for just asking that question,
Right.
if somebody was, they would just be willing to possibly offer you money to know who and see what's going on.
Oh, wow. Well, they're paying me $1 million. Will you guys give me $2 million? I'm joking. But seriously, this is very odd, you guys. You guys came to my house. It makes me feel slightly good that maybe I'm getting some notoriety for this, but this is crazy.
So again, I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So apparently there's tons of things that's influencing going around.
Okay.
A huge percentage of it is all bots, not real.
Interesting.
certain
No,
people.
I'm real. Anything I report on about Diddy is coming from what other influencers, what news articles, and I'm a comedian. I put my spin on it, but nobody is paying me to do
And
that.
I've seen it and I like it.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very simple that if it was the fact that somebody was paying you,
Right.
people who were getting some negative, talk,
Would be interested in-
in finding that out and possibly going action either against that person
Right.
or.
So I don't know if you guys caught that, but he said it right there, kind of the same way that Amalia had alluded to. Hey, the company that we work for is willing to offer you money to tell us who it is and maybe make other content, right? It's kind of what he was alluding to. In the same video, the guy also asked these two private investigators, he asked, can you tell me who hired you? And they said no. Guy in the baby blue who looks like special forces or, at least maybe was a cop at some point in time. He's like, no, I can't tell you that, and kind of goes on about that in a nice guy kind of, I'm just, looking for information, no harm, no foul kind of perspective. I looked for other videos. I haven't found any more. The story is fairly new. It looked like Amalia posted it. It was like 22 hours ago, at least at the time of this recording. There's really two questions here to be asked. Why and who, as in who hired them? There are multiple angles that I was looking at this from as far as the why. One could be Diddy hiring private investigators to maybe point out that he is being prosecuted in the court of public opinion, even though he has done a bunch of shitty stuff. Like, we already know all the allegations on top of the video of Cassie and other people coming out as well, both 10, 20 years ago. And also as recently as, I believe it was his producer, Little Rod or Rod, DJ Rod, whatever his name was. I'm not sure exactly, but it could be Diddy or Diddy's lawyers trying to poke a hole in whatever the state might present as far as evidence to show that maybe he can't have a fair trial. Or two would be maybe somebody who is on that Diddy list is sweating bullets. Who could it be? There's been plenty of people who've been tied to going to Diddy parties, tied to knowing Diddy for some time. Could it be one of these celebrities that is worried and is like, I need to change the narrative, and is thinking, hey, maybe these YouTubers will compromise their integrity for some money? Well, that plan clearly backfired because they just posted it, and the story right now isn't very big, but I would expect this to get a lot bigger, and I'd be surprised if it wasn't mainstream news at some point, especially if these guys have, like they stated, have a longer list and they're going to multiple people. Then the third angle would be, who could possibly be sweating right now? Is it J-Lo? Is it Meek Mills? Maybe it's Jay-Z or Beyonce or LeBron or some of the staff that Diddy hired that were around him for years on end. When asked publicly, at least the ones who have commented, say, oh, well, I never saw anything like this. You know, he was a charming person. He was great. He was this, he was that. Now, the other angle for the who is also, it's clearly somebody who has enough money to hire P.I.s to possibly be going around the country. In the video, the P.I.s state were going around asking multiple YouTubers. Are they all in the same state? If not, the P.I.s are traveling. Who are they charging for that? They won't disclose the company they work for. They won't disclose any clients or any other information besides the fact that they're private investigators. This is one of those stories that I think is just going to get deeper and deeper. That's one of the reasons I didn't really want to make a Diddy video just yet. I kind of wanted to wait for at least the opening statements of the defense as well as the state, just to see, just to see which way they were headed. But for me, this right here, which is, for me, these two examples of having two influencers approached by private investigators, that means this pot might be a lot deeper than we think. And the gold in there, or that could mean that this story is one of those stories that's gonna break a lot of things. I'll leave you guys with this thought. When the story first broke about Diddy and some of the things he was doing, I didn't necessarily jump to say, oh my God, he's Jeffrey Epstein or he's doing all these things. But as the time passed and having the Cassie video, which I already knew he was a scumbag after seeing that, I didn't want to just jump the gun though. So I held off, and as I'm looking at the information coming out, it really makes me want to take a step back and think about some of the things that I consume and some of the media I've been consuming, to think like, could there be nefarious actors? Could there be someone out there with a lot of money paying some of these influencers to say some of the things they say or to have the ideas they do? Or to even push a specific narrative? It's a tricky time we're living in, but I think Diddy's a perfect example of why it doesn't matter how well you hide something. It doesn't matter how much you try to hide it. Evil will always be exposed. Light is the best disinfectant. So if you're doing anything behind closed doors that's not right, sooner or later, it's gonna come out. Whether it happens right away or it takes 20, 30 years, nobody gets away from the consequences and overall karma, if you want to call it, whether it's, your religion or belief system. With that said, guys, I want to know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, go check out the merch store. We have some new gear up there. Till next time.